What's up, everybody? Anthony here with another fantasy feud huddle with my boy John. What's up, John?
What up? What up?
So today, right now, we're gonna just go over and recap our last Dynasty startup draft. Where me and John joined and commissioned joined commissioned a league that they did we recorded a video of the draft that I will then say again was a startup dynasty superflex s 2 minute draft.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, Anthony, before we even go into it, Anthony, so how like freaked out were you with not having a slow draft for a dynasty? Like, how frustrating was this?
I I still talk like when we're talking about it every time I mention it. I'm like, I just can't believe. And not to mention there was like a at least a few people in here that were new, like new guys that never did Dynasty before. So I'm like, so new people doing Dynasty, you guys are running it for the first time, these people, and you're like not to do a slow draft, and it's June. It's the middle of June, like when we did this. You could have done 8 slow drafts and still been fine before the season started. So like that was crazy to me. But then I'm like, you know what? Trying to be optimistic. I'm like, that just like I know me, I'm locked and loaded. We know what we're doing. That's setting up other dudes for mistakes. And that happened, right? There was
Yeah.
a
Big time.
couple times dudes had auto picked and where we thought things were going to go one way, they went another. And I literally, without just saying it, like I think we have the best team in that league.
Oh, for sure, for
So
sure.
John, for no further ado, pull up the sleeper league because we only do sleeper really around here, okay? And let's go over our
How's it looking, Anthony,
squad.
over there?
It's looking good.
All right, let's do it, man. All right, Anthony. So kick us off with at least your thought process, because this was pretty early in the draft in our previous recording that you guys could check out from the live draft. So that we pretty much did the starting lineup. So Anthony, what was your thought process on just between quarterback and running back? I know right now I already set up some things, but what are your thoughts on like Burrow and like kind of our two running backs?
Like for our draft, I think like I was a little nervous because I'm usually always I usually push the onesies, even though this is super flex. Like I wouldn't have minded to push the issue on waiting, but and also because it didn't go as QB heavy in the first round as I thought, but we snagged Joe Burrow, and at least going into this year, they have like the third easiest schedule. So I love and Joe Burrow's great. So I mean, we didn't get to stack it. But getting Joe Burrow, I'm fine with. We have a top tier quarterback for our QB1 spot.
For sure.
Uh, and then I mean, if you're gonna say what do I think our weaknesses are as a team, tight end obviously, but that position fluctuates so much. If our worst position or a need is to upgrade tight end, I'm not worried. After the draft, immediately after the draft, somebody in the chat said that they're looking for a wide receiver and they're willing to trade a first. So like people were looking for receivers, and that's one thing we did, John, is we got receivers. John, why don't you list our starting three receivers and then name the next three receivers we have?
Yeah, so I kind of set this up with I like to do my lineups based on like week one projections and based on the times because obviously injuries happen, things of that sort. So in no particular order, we have Roma Dunze, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, CeeDee Lamb as our wide receivers. Let's go down to our bench over here. We also have Trey Tucker, Trey Harris, Isaiah Tisella.
Tesla, bro.
Tesla.
It's all
All
right.
right, whatever.
If people have ever
Pronunciations,
watched you, they know that you and name bashing it happens and it's awesome.
yeah. Rom Romeo Dobbs,
Hmm.
Dontavian Wicks as our wide receivers. There's not one wide receiver here that's like weak. I mean, we all have
For
really,
as far as remember, as depth is concerned, as you go down, like to have depth, but like our five receivers are. Dunze, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith,
And
uh,
CD.
CeeDee Lamb, and Romeo Doubs. Like that's a solid five receivers if you're going to have your three starting receivers and flexing two receivers. But now you could also obviously flex a running back. But I like
Sick.
to just max out if you were to fill your flexes with those positions, how would you look? And for five receivers, we have the best receivers in the league. Um, Running backs, John. I think that's another one where I would say it's like like we don't have the elite. We have meh. We have solid running backs. So who are our running backs, John?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down to it. So I'm gonna go Jalen Warren over here. We have Chuba Hubbard. These two guys, and we're gonna get back to these guys. I have some opinions on these two guys, so we'll get back to that. Who I really like on our team, and this is gonna be our RB1 for sure, is Kenneth Walker. I love the situation he's gonna be in Kansas City. And then at running back, we got some depth here. We have Marshawn Lloyd. We know that issue with Josh Jacobs over in Green Bay, so want to make sure we grab that backup guy. The guy has struggled with injuries, but let's hopefully he can stay healthy and grab that job. Then we have Laquan Allen, the pass down back over in Jacksonville. That's going to be a really interesting situation to see. Then we have two free agent running backs. We have the aging Joe Mixon that he disappeared from the face of the earth last season. Then we have Najee Harris, which is probably the top free agent running back this year. So to be
Which were good
determined.
pickups to have for pieces just because, like you said, Josh Jacobs, right? Like if he's not going to play this year, they might just have an insurance piece and pick up Najee, and he may end up being a valuable piece or a sellable piece that we could sell to Jacobs for something. So like,
Absolutely. And then we have Jordan Mason here, which his situation is pretty interesting. We have an older Aaron Jones and the rookie Claiborne that was drafted, real electric running back. So this would be a really interesting running back room. But Jordan Mason has proven that he can handle the workload in the past. So I would say even our running backs are pretty decent.
right,
Now,
and like what you did with the running backs, because I won't lie, I was with John for probably about the first 10 rounds, and then kind of left and said, "Hey, I like these late round guys," and he ended up getting them, which I appreciate. Don't forget our taxi, right? Katron Allen, Malachi Fields, and these people did a five taxi, five IR squad. That's not normal, folks. But anyway, the the situation with running backs is like when you're at that later rounds and you're like, I don't know who to pick here and running back, like, oh, is he even gonna like that's when you pick I go upside, upside, right? So we locked in for sure starter with Kenny Walker, and then Jalen Warren's got that job. I mean, they're gonna mix it up, but he's for sure the lead there. And Chuba is got paid as if he is. I mean, they have Brooks, right? But this would be the year that he's coming to be healthy. But my man hasn't touched, a football, played some tackle football in what is it, like 2 years now?
yeah, yeah.
So
My
like those are where all right, Chuba was like all right, he should take that job if Brooks doesn't turn out to be anything. So those are some strategies I think benefited us very well. And technically we didn't go over the other QB though, right? So it's a
yeah.
super flex.
Well, before we move on to that, I want to back to that running back. So I want to mention a guy that's not on our team that may like hinder some of our picks, and that is Rico Dowdle. All right, last year on the Carolina Panthers, and he kind of took over that role over Chuba Hubbard.
True.
This year, he signs with Pittsburgh. And can this be another disastrous year for Jalen Warren where Rico Dowdle starts stealing touches from him? And we're kind of looking at Jalen Warren instead of being at RB2, maybe we're looking at an RB3 flex
And
position. So,
that is
what are your
very,
thoughts on that?
very possible. But he has receiving upside for sure. And you kind of know that a lot of people it's either you're either a three down back or you're a guy who's going to get worked split, and he had work split last year and he was a serviceable starting option, so I'm definitely okay with the pick. That's why I said like increasing our RB2 would be something. But if we scroll through, John, well, let's run through the quarterback, the tight ends,
Yeah.
maybe touch on the taxi, and then before we shut it down, scope on a few other teams. So
Yeah.
we have, as we said, we have Joe Burrow, and our other quarterback that's starting is Baker Mayfield. And then what other pieces with high upside did we grab, John?
Yeah, we picked up Carson Beck and Ty Simpson. And Anthony was actually you were pretty psyched about getting these two guys. So I'm gonna go with my guy. This actually I drafted this guy. I'm actually surprised how much he fell. Ty Simpson. Do you believe that this is Matthew Stafford's last year? And what's the upside that you see in this kid, Ty Simpson?
I mean, you're getting and doing all these based off of a statistic and some feelings and your thoughts and what you believe, and with what the information has been laid out in front of you. Like they are going all in this year, right? I mean, we're granted they traded a first to get homeboy, but they never in the past 10 years they've chosen one first round pick with their own first round. They traded away. So this is nothing new. But I think that they are winning the Super Bowl this year, and if they do, Stafford's retiring on top. And then this kid literally had a whole, like he's obviously not playing, so he's having a whole year of sitting behind a first ballot
Hall of
Hall of
Fame.
Famer,
Yeah.
a top. He could be in an argument for top five QB of all time. I'm sure if we wanted to start making a list, he could have an argument on being in there. So yeah, this kid's roadmap is that's why I was super excited about it. I'm like, you literally have a guy we don't have to worry about. We could sit, and if he hits, if he is, half of what Stafford is in that system on that team, that's a win. And that would be our third quarterback, and that's when you start being able to sell one of your quarterbacks for because it's a super flex league, which I've done before. If I have three everyday starting quarterbacks on my super flex roster, I'm trading one.
I
That's just me.
absolutely agree.
Like I'm just trading one because I know I can get at least a first for them. Or I could say, all right, listen, somebody needs a quarterback. Theirs just went down. I need a receiver. I can get a receiver, whatever, most of them,
Yeah.
depending on what it is. So, dude, oh
Here's
my God, before I
it.
forget, please. My first dynasty league I ever started a couple years ago. I won it the first year. I made it to the championship the next year. So we're in year three. Obviously, I lost the second one, but my team, I sold the future. So I have Joe Burrow, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, um, DK. No, maybe I have DK, but I'm saying it's basically Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Burrow is like the bulk of my squad. Like Derrick Henry's good, but he's aging out. And a lot of my team's aging out. So I'm like looking yesterday. I'm like, what can I do, dude? Like I have a couple tight ends. Like what move can I make to get another receiver? Like I need a depth receiver. And I see this guy on this team, and he has Lad McConkey and your boy Quentin Johnston. And they're in like the starting lineup. Obviously, we're not playing, but I'm like right there in front of me. I'm like ding, ding, ding. One guy has two receivers from the same squad, and so I'm like, all right, he's gonna obviously not want to sell Lad. So I offered him like Jake Ferguson for him straight up, and then I offered Tyrone Tracy and like a 2028 third. Those are the two offers. Figured you want to upgrade your tight end, Jake Ferguson, solid tight end.
Yep.
And Tyrone Tracy, not a terrible player, but a third, okay, maybe that's close in range conversation starter. He rejects both. And then I'm like, all right, well, listen, you have both of these receivers. Are you, interested in moving one? I assume Johnson. That's why I offered you this stuff. So 5 minute pause. I'm like, all right, I guess, this is a normal situation. And then he hits me back with Tank Bigsby straight up.
What?
I immediately went over, started the thing, and I offered him Tank Bigsby for Quentin Judd. He accepted.
Wow.
I would have taken Tyrone Tracy in a third or Jake Ferguson
Wow.
over that. So
I
I'm like,
mean,
okay, dude, I basically get a piece that I forgot I had him on my squad. He's so useless.
I mean, he is the backup to Saquon. So Saquon
But
goes
remember,
down. He's
remember,
gonna
100%. And Tank Bigsby's got some talent, but they
upside. Yeah.
also have Will Shipley.
Yep.
So it's like, who is the clear two? I mean, they went out and go and traded for him, sure, but but okay, if he ends up filling in for Barkley, cool, great. All right, well, I have a guy I'm going to start every week now, and he's someone we're going to talk about in a different part, a different show.
Yeah.
But
Let's do it.
I just, as Joe, I couldn't believe that. I had to tell somebody, John. I had to tell somebody. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't even. I was like, I gave up peanuts for, a jar of peanuts.
Let me, and you know what? Let's even talk about this. So we're to kind of wrap up this quarterback talk is my guy is Carson Beck. This guy is going to start sometime this year. If you have a guy besides Fernando Mendoza in this rookie draft that may start and is likely to start, I like my chances with this kid Carson Beck.
All
There's
right,
talent on this team, man. They have Trey McBride, they have Marvin Harris Jr., they have
Michael
an
Wilson.
offensive-minded coach. Like I'm not high on Carson Beck, but the guy has a clear path to winning, and Jacoby Brissett is not your long-term quarterback.
That's what I was
So
just going to get into, John, because you said you're saying he's going to start this year.
yeah.
So you think, is it because of the off the field stuff happening with Jacoby Brissett, where it's like behind the scene, contract, and you think it's because he's not going to play happy, or they're not, or
Well,
whatever?
they're going to
Or do you
lose. I
think
mean,
that Beck is going to outplay him? Or that's what I was going to say. I
no,
was like, do you think it's going to be one of three things? If Beck plays this year, it's because of these one of three things. One, Brissett's just done, right? So you're forced to put Beck in. Two, Beck outplays him, which that's what I was going
I
to ask you.
highly doubt that will happen.
And then it'd be three, they're losing so bad, let's see what the kid got.
I think it's the kids like I'm gonna put it this way. It might be one of those situations, kind of like with the Saints, where it's a little bit different of a situation. I think Jacoby Brissett is actually a decent guy to have on your team. He's not gonna like light the world on fire, but he won't screw the game up for you. Like he's a guy that like you can win football games with. He can win you a game, but he's not like the super game changer. We've seen what Jacoby Brissett is, and he's an average game manager. He can win you games, but he's not going to take you to the promised land kind of guy. And this team is not built to win right now. So I'm thinking later on in the season, as the losses pile up, this defense might be the worst in the league going into this year. So I think that Carson Beck is going to be thrown in there. He's probably going to be forced to throw the ball because I think they're going to play behind a lot. And I think that this is a guy that is going to be a startable guy that you can put in a super flex. And I think we're in a situation where if he starts playing well, or if he's just starting, and a team is just desperate for a quarterback,
Sold.
if yeah, like for sure. I could sell him for a first round pick. Like you're desperate for a quarterback, you're going to be in those situations. Or if we get an injury to, let's say, for instance, Baker or Joe Burrow, maybe later on in the season, we're throwing in a Carson Beck just to be like, hey,
Hmm?
this guy is
Yeah.
scoring over 20 points. I just think that the team is going to be bad and they're going to be forced to throw the ball. Why not start a Carson Beck? So I
Yeah.
like both of our rookie quarterbacks. I like them in multiple different ways, but I just think our rookies in general are. And the funny thing is that some of these guys, like we're talking about Caleb Douglas here, which the wide receiver room in Miami is wide open. Like this guy, we got him off of waivers. We got him off waivers. And guys, I just want to give you news. Joe Mixon was on the waiver wire. Like somebody dropped him, drafted him, and dropped him. Like this is how dynasty is. It's just weird. Um,
Yeah, you make mistakes, you get auto picked.
yeah,
But the
it's
one
just
the one thing
weird,
about
man.
with Beck, but like Brissett, when Brissett played last year, he wasn't anything amazing, but he was somebody you could throw in and be like, all right, he's gonna get me 17 to 24 points. And he played decent. He was fantasy decent, but they lost. They lost all the games. So, like you said, their defense is trash, and I can't believe they drafted Jeremiah Love. I hope he's good for fantasy at least. But like, yeah, with that being said, John, run through our starting lineup and take us out, man.
Yeah. So our starting lineup, we're going from start to finish. So we got Joe Burrow, Jalen Warren, Chuba Hubbard. We have Odunze, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, TJ Hawkinson as our tight end. Let's go. Bounce back year. CeeDee Lamb, Kenneth Walker. We have Baker Mayfield here. And to finish out our bench, we got Marshawn Lloyd. We have Laquan Allen, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Jordan Mason, Trey Tucker, Trey Harris, your boy,
Isaac
Isaiah
Tesla.
Tesla, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, Gunnar Helm, and Greg Douchebag.
Don't forget 5 taxi spots. Insane.
Five taxi spots. And we have Carson Beck, Ty Simpson, Malachi Fields, Caleb Douglas, and to finish out us out,
Tron
and
Allen,
will be
baby.
the RB1 for Washington, Katron Allen. Let's go.
Those were the two guys I said, John. After this, Malachi Fields and Katron Allen are guys I'm interested in the late round. But yeah, I think we did a great job on this
Snag 'em,
draft,
baby.
John. I think honestly, if our team is healthy, we should win this league, no doubt. And this time, we're gonna probably be able to also win and sell pieces to get draft capital. That's how confident I am. We'll keep you guys in the loop on this team, especially because we drafted it live on this show. And until next time, where we have another huddle, I'm your boy Anthony. John.
Break.